So guys, I had some requests for some ideas using a Swiss ball, so I'm going to show you some exercises for balance and footwork, and then go into some ground flow ideas. All right, so the first one is basically ball jumps, landing on the ball for balance. The best way to do it is to start near a wall. I recommend doing this on a matted surface if you're not confident, or at least out on the grass. If you think of the ball, guys, when it's against the wall, think of the ball as having a center line and having sort of two corners. You want to try to stay clear of that center line. You step on the center or one side of it, and you're likely going to fall. So you're looking to plant your feet on either side of the corners. So having that ball jutted in, get a good grip on the wall, and just see how you can get in there. So the next step then is to progress to doing it freestanding. Again, there's a good chance you're going to fall often. That's part of the drill, but enjoy. So now step 3 is to do it in motion. So next exercise is to balance one leg on the ball, keep one on the floor. The key to this is really for emulating loss of balance when somebody's clinching one leg and trying to take you down. You're in that one-legged hop position. What you want to do is be very mindful of the pivot of your support leg and also to invest. So I want to put weight on the ball to the point where I start to feel the ball rolling, and then I start to stumble. Of course, do both legs. So you see from this exercise, you can recruit a full figure 8 motion in the leg. And again, the key is to learn how to flex the support leg and to pivot from the support foot to protect the knee. So now some ground surfing and balance drills. Goal here, again, think of the center line of the ball. I'm trying to keep my hips behind the center line and to feel my balance. So at first, I try to really find my center, where all 4 points of support, my hands and my feet, are as equal as they can be, or oscillating equally, very quickly. Then I feel the difference between coming back, and ideally it's a nice Cossack squat with the toes out, versus being on the balls of the feet, and coming forward into a sort of a plank. So from a frog to a plank position, playing with that balance in the middle. Second phase we can go is to keep point of support with a hand and a foot, and to work on elongating the diagonal supports, the diagonal posts. That escalates naturally into using some weight. A 10-pound ankle weight is a really good assistance. This is an 18-pound kettlebell. So we can just hold it out in front and start by feeling the demand on the body when lifting. And then if that's comfortable, isolate just the leg, and then finally looking to isolate the leg on the diagonal side from the arm. And feeling that long diagonal line and reinforcing exactly where your center is relevant to that line. Natural progression from there is to work your actual sprawling tactics. So again, center line of the ball is here. When I drive my hips down, I want to make sure I don't go past or too close to that center line. If I sprawl, my hips should be coming down and my hands are just absorbing. The second I bring my weight too far forward, I'm going to start to have that kind of teetering. So I'll show you an example of a few good sprawls. Body's back, knees are low, I'm on the balls of the feet, Cossack stepped out. So my knees are nice and low, but they're not touching the ground. Putting all my weight on the ball, but on the close corner. An example of sprawling too far would be here. And then feeling the lift lever up. So I want my legs to always be back and rooted, and just working from this position. Next exercise is to use the ball for a bridge. So first step, we get nice and close to the ball. The ball wants to roll one side or the other. So my goal is to use my muscle in my body to keep my head straight in line, providing me with the most symmetrical stretch possible. Allows me to get much deeper than I might be able to just with hand support alone, And again, I don't try to lift up, I roll back. It's all thigh and abs, keeping that nice and square, nice and symmetrical. From those, we then migrate to the side, going onto the corner, 45-degree angle with the body, working either side, nice and stable, and then finally rotating onto the side. Feeling what that feels like. You can reach over all the way with the diagonal arm. Again, just balancing yourself on the ball the whole time. The next progression now is to work on spindle roll. So we're basically just rolling our body as if we were doing stop, drop, and roll for a fire drill. So I'm just rolling basically end to end over my side, except I'm doing it on the ball. It's quite normal initially for the first few times you do this to fall right off the ball. So I want to start again in my high bridge position. And again, the ball will be rolling the same direction that my body's moving. And I want to feel what that feels like. Coming back, same deal. I'm threading underneath. So single rotations are not too bad. The goal is you want to work up to multiples. If you do 2 or 3 in a row, not necessarily fast, but continuously, you'll notice just between each rotation, there's that moment where you lose the roll and you authentically fall into it. So, next step is to use the ball for forward rolls. Of course, in a combat system perspective, we're always looking to have the body draped, arms are out in a crucifix, and we're primarily engaging the ground with a rotation of the arm via the shoulder. Here we have a lot of pressure on the diaphragm, on the stomach, so as I come over, I want to practice just leaving the ball behind. The natural next step is to work on a cradle roll, whereby I keep the ball. A lot of variations we can do of those rolls. We can do lateral shoulder rolls. So these usually are easiest if we start with the legs out. Keeping the ball inside and keeping our face towards a common focal point. From a ground fighting position, oftentimes you'll be mounted on top of somebody and they'll buck their hips in an effort to take you off. So we know when we talk about rolling or engaging the ground, our first response, our flinch response, is often to reach for the ground with the hands and the fingers. The first level of work, therefore, is to functionalize that flinch and to teach ourselves how to absorb that reaching reflex and the screwing action to protect the arm. Here we're going to take it a step further. We're going to imagine we're either mounted, we've got rear hooks on a guy, and they're bucking or slipping us off. Almost like a cowboy at a rodeo. As I go over, the desire to buckle at the hips and put my hands on the floor is quite strong. The danger with that is there's a lot of force. It can injure my hands, my arms, and at the minimum, it's going to occupy them. So a knee ride from this position involves me just allowing my body to go diagonal and to ride the ball. And we want to do this at first quite slowly. Most of us will have a strong buckling feeling. So I ride it slowly and feel myself coming forward. And that's enough. So riding it slowly and feeling that open. As it gets more comfortable, you can allow it to sort of become more of a health exercise and really exaggerate the stretch in the knees, the thighs, and the lower back. And if it's very comfortable, you might even be able to get your legs out into an elongation and come back to your bridge. So another tough one is to integrate a leg raise into a stand-up. Stand-up can be quite tough. And often when we stand up, we want to keep the feet closer together, use our partner. So what we're doing here is we're putting our feet a little wider than they want to be in most cases. Use your hands by all means on the ground to push up and feel how that body is opening on a diagonal plane. So I imagine relaxing the body back, finding a good strong position with the feet, bring the ball over slowly, working with your breath, bring the ball back, come on up. As it becomes more comfortable, you can use that sort of moment to be a bit more ballistic and think of bouncing, even working into a knee ride.